Hey everyone, Ryan here, or M&R Productions, and today we're going to be taking a look at every LEGO Star Wars The Mandalorian set to date. In total, there have been 6 sets released over a span of late 2019 to January 2021, with the latest set, LEGO having sent me a little bit early, allowing me to make this video a little bit earlier than I would have otherwise, but I'm sure there are more sets coming. But as of January 2021, this is the current collection of Mandalorian sets, and something I thought was interesting about making this video right now is this may very well be one of the only times you can buy all of the sets right now. This is your opportunity if you're a collector and you want to make sure you get everything for as cheap as possible, or at least retail price, to go out, finish off your collection, get everything while it's available before these types of things start retiring. We've yet to have a Mandalorian set retire, but that cannot be too far away with sets like the AT-ST Raider having been out since late 2019 heading into 2021. I would argue LEGO has been pretty slow with their approach to the Mandalorian. They only had one set upon the initial show's release with the AT-ST Raider, followed by January's release of a Mandalorian Battle Pack, which took some inspiration from the original Mandalorian Battle Pack, so that was kind of cool. Then come August, we got a pair of BrickHeads. September, we saw the Razor Crest, and then another month later, we saw the very cute baby Yoda buildable character. And then, of course, coming 2021, January 1st, we have the Trouble on Tatooine set, which is the only Season 2 base set. All the other sets are based on Season 1. And of course, like I said earlier, we're going to see more. It's just a matter of time. So up front here, all these sets together, if you wanted to buy them right now, if you own none of these, is going to run you $325. By the way, I'll put some affiliate links down in the description below if you are interested in buying any of these. But that's not that bad, I feel like, for what you're getting here. I mean, there's some crossover with getting the same Mando character and, of course, Baby Yoda. But for the most part, there's a lot of diversity in this lineup, and I think that's a really strong part about the Mandalorian sets thus far. I mean, we'll see in the future if we get remakes and stuff. But as of now, plethora of like different stuff in every set. There's a little something for everyone at the very least, I would say, and we'll start out with the cheapest set, the Battle Pack. For $15, the Battle Pack is, for all intents and purposes, a normal Battle Pack, right? It just happens to be based off the Mandalorian. All the characters come with stud shooters. I'm kind of split on whether or not I like the colors of these Mandos. I still feel like some of them are too vibrant here a year later after release, but in general, I still think it's a good Battle Pack, and I've bought quite a few of them at this point. It does come with kind of a turret stand where you can place down a stud shooter from one of the characters onto. It's certainly not my favorite thing about the set. I really like the speeder design they have for this. It's kind of an upgrade from the previous Mandalorian speeder bike design, and it actually worked out really well. Made a lot of sense for this set with stud shooters on the side, thrust at the back. It's just a really generally nice, well done, well-rounded battle pack. It's got 4 different characters, but none of them are like officers or any like stupidly bad characters. So for $15, I think it's a really good set as a battle pack. With a more display-oriented set at $20, we have the Mandalorian and the Child BrickHeads. The Mandalorian looking pretty spiffy. They gave him really good armor looks with nice prints even on the arm there. And then he's got like his whole rifle on the back, which actually looks pretty dang good. Love the Mando. And then, of course, Baby Yoda, or the Child, or Grogu in his pram. This is the only LEGO pram that we have thus far. It's unknown whether or not we'll get one in the future, but this one actually turned out really well, and of course, you can actually take Baby Yoda out if you want. So that's all cute and fine and dandy, and then, of course, it all is on the black stand. So I think for $20, the BrickHeads are a pretty nice value for the Mandalorian collection. The next setup is the January 2021 set, Trouble on Tatooine, and it's pretty incredible. It's probably one of the better Mandalorian sets for a lot of people, simply for the fact that for $30, again, moving up in price here, but for $30, we get a Season 2 style Beskar Mandalorian here. He even has the signet on his right arm with arm printing, by the way. Yes, this character has arm printing in a $30 set. Pretty incredible. And then, of course, Baby Yoda or the Child. Now, I don't think the Child minifigure looks particularly great. I think that if you give him the side profile, you're going to have a lot of trouble with that. I wish LEGO would come in and make a special mold for his body as well to better match what the Child looks like in the show, because certainly the novelty of having a Baby Yoda minifigure for me has worn off. Maybe that hasn't for you quite yet, but I think it will happen, and maybe you'll come to realize that it's just not as good as maybe we all first thought. But this set does have a lot more to offer than minifigures. Fortunately, it has the Mandalorian speeder bike from the first episode, which is nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't include a Cobb Vanth, nor his speeder bike. That was probably the most requested thing out of the set that just didn't end up happening. Of course, the Tusken Raider tent, which is kind of interesting given Tusken Raider 10's histories. And then we also have a ballista, which is just basically a big crossbow firing a spring-loaded shooter there on top. So all in all, this set for $30 packs quite a punch as far as play, and then also the characters are big for a lot of collectors like myself. For $50, you get an ATST with a head. Yes, I do have to say with a head. Yes, it's happened. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this was the original, like, release Mandalorian set that came out for Force Friday in 2019. And, you know, obviously at the time, we hadn't seen the story or known anything about this, but it was a pretty dang cool, like, modified-looking ATST, and it still is with the brown leg and the red leg there. Then you get the Cara Dune minifigure, the only Cara Dune we've had so far. Of course, the original Mandalorian in non-Beskar armor there. It's nice looking for what it's supposed to be, but of course the Beskar armor, I think, looks much nicer. And then you have a pair of Plutonian Raiders, who are some ugly looking fellas on the right. So 4 figures in that $50 set, not too bad. And the ATST is really nice. I wish I could buy multiples of this. I wish there was more than one of it shown in the show. Unfortunately, there are not. Kind of like it wouldn't make sense to own like multiple UCS Slave 1s, or I guess that's not a good example price comparison wise, or I guess Jedi Starfighter with hyperdrive rings. That's a pretty good example, I guess. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense to buy more than one of these for me, but I do really like it. It's got really nice features on the interior with some space for your Plutonian Raiders or other characters to sit, I suppose. It does use a lot of stickers for detail, so maybe if that's not your thing, this won't be your set. But in general, a really nice and very refined ATST, although the 2016 Rogue One ATST may be more your game if you're just looking for a regular ATST. And finally, a set you may not find on sale, because this one is actually an Amazon.com exclusive, although you can also buy it at the LEGO store. That's how store exclusives with LEGO work, if you don't know. But the Razor Crest, $130 as of now, is the most expensive Mandalorian set. Now, obviously, that could change this coming summer, or if they were to release a UCS version of most likely the Razor Crest. I think if LEGO were to do any UCS Mandalorian set, the Razor Crest would absolutely be like the must-do, at least for the first UCS set based on this property. Although on a technicality, that one kind of is UCS, but that's neither here nor there for the purposes of this video. You get the Baby Yoda, you get the Mandalorian in his non-Beskar armor. Of course, a nice Scout Trooper, always nice to see. IG-11 and Grief Karga. Very nice Grief Karga. Kind of wish we had printing on the legs there with that piece of cloth that kind of drapes down him, but unfortunately they just didn't do that. So a little cheap out there on LEGO's part, but as far as the vehicle goes, I don't think the vehicle is cheaped out in any way. I think this Razor Crest is about all you could really ask for a playset of a Razor Crest. I mean, you have a really nice printed windshield piece, not a sticker. See? Trying to scrape it off, won't scrape off. You can open this up. You have plenty of interior space to place Baby Yoda and the Mando, or maybe another character with that bigger seat back there. You could put the child in Mando's lap. You have an escape pod on top, pretty neat. You can throw Grief Karga or somebody in there. The engines are pretty well done, although I've certainly seen some criticisms about the backside, and that's fair. You also have very nice storage space inside of the Razor Crest. A nice bed for Mando or maybe another character if that's what you're doing. And then there it is with everything else open. It's a pretty spacious ship and very well detailed on the inside. Now, what just fell out there was one of the Carbonite characters here. So they actually included 2 of these guys, 4 Carbonite characters from the ship, which are pretty nice in my opinion. I think they actually worked out pretty well, other than how kind of loose they feel sometimes in there. They're a little bit tough to get to stay exactly where you want them because they're just on tiles. See, that one just fell off. There's the print on the other one. Let's get that back in there. And then the other thing you can kind of do with this Razor Crest, it's not exactly like a feature that maybe you're buying the set for, but you can fit things like the Mandalorian speeder inside and close it up all just fine. You can also fit this speeder inside, which is much larger. So that's actually pretty crazy that you can fit both vehicles in there. Obviously not at the same time, but just that kind of compatibility with sets is nice, although it's not necessarily like an intended thing. It just is like by happenstance they both happen to fit in there, and that's pretty dang sweet. Don't take this order all too seriously, because I don't think there's like a big gap in between these sets quality wise. Like, I think they're all pretty fine sets, but this is kind of my like order of which sets I like the most to the least, or like if I could only have one type of deal. So the best being on the right and the worst being on the left, although like I said, I don't think these sets are particularly bad. You got to keep that in mind. The scale is kind of relative. If we were throwing in other sets would end up behind it, but that's not part of this. So yeah, why would I put this one as the worst set, or like the set that I kind of don't like the most? I don't know. It's weird to word it that way, because I really love the Beskar Mando. I just feel like this set is missing a lot. It's got a few things wrong with it, actually. First off is a really small thing, but the box art on the box has the Mandalorian on it, but the instruction manual has Darth Vader on it. Little things disconnect. Like, I don't know why that's a thing, but it is, and that's unfortunate. It's just a little experience thing for me personally. And then on top of that, the Cobb Vanth thing. No Cobb Vanth speeder. Just makes a lot of sense for what this set is and what it's from in the storyline. So yeah, obviously LEGO probably has a reason for not including that, but it's not there, and that's the fact at the end of the day. The set is not as good as it could have been. Baby Yoda, or the child, or Grogu, the buildable character. Now, there are some flaws with this set that you could argue. Obviously, it just looks weird, kind of, as any of these buildable characters are going to. It's hard to just replicate the way a flesh thing looks with plastic like this, especially when you are very confined with the pieces that you have to build a thing. So, yeah, that one just ends up a little bit lower because of that. The ATST Raiders are really solid ATST. The color scheme, you may like, you may not like. The figures, I'm kind of split on. The Clutonian Raiders are nice, but they don't get a lot of screen time, so I don't have, like, a huge attachment to them, and certainly Mando and Cara Dune are fine, but $50 for that is fine. The Battle Pack, I've probably bought about a dozen of at this point. Like I said a few moments ago, the colors of them I'm a little split on, like being so vibrant at times. I really love the Brickheads. I think for $20, if you're a Brickheads fan and you don't own this, it's kind of sad. Like, these are so cool. Very, very good Brickheads from LEGO Star Wars. And then easily the best must-have set from The Mandalorian has got to be the Razor Crest. For $130, it's more of a set you're probably going to want to be buying for the ship than the figures. I don't find the figures to be, like, perfect. Like, Grief Karga's fine. The Mando, I wish would have been this Beskar Mando. That would have made a lot more sense and been way, way cooler, but it's just not the way it is. Also, I think the Scout Trooper should have had his speeder bike, but that's a whole nother thing. And yeah, but overall, still, the set itself is still amazing. I love the build for this Razor Crest. It's a lot bigger than I think most people would expect when they go in to get that set. It just is a huge, huge, like, very weighty, thick model. Overall, that's kind of my pseudo ranking of the Mandalorian sets. Again, don't take it too seriously. I don't hate any of these sets. I like them all, but yeah, that's the current collection of Mando sets as of January 2021. Of course, this is going to change. There are probably going to be more sets coming out in summer of 2021, although there are no rumors or confirmations at this point in time. But this point in time is also one of the only times you can get all of these sets, find them on the shelf all at once right now, and buy them if you want them. If you think you're going to want them in the future, you're probably going to want to buy them now, because I can only imagine the price on these will go up, because The Mandalorian is good. It's very good, and it's very popular, and all of these sets I don't see going down in value once they retire. I think the Brickheads are going to be especially pricey. I think the Razor Crest, depending on how long Amazon has it in stock for, could end up getting pricey, but that would be a couple years down the line. I think that one's going to be out for a while. The Battle Pack could go up quite a bit in value. Like, all the Battle Packs always go up in value, so that's kind of a given, but I don't know about these sets. It's a little bit tougher with these. If you guys have any suggestions for future videos like this, certainly leave in the comments section below. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. You can check out reviews of all these Mandalorian sets with the playlist on the end screen now.